The libertarian creed rests upon one central axiom, that no man or group of men may aggress against the person or property of anyone else. This may be called the non-aggression axiom. Aggression is defined as the initiation of the use or threat of physical violence against the person or property of anyone else. Aggression is therefore synonymous with invasion. If no man may aggress against another, if, in short, everyone has the absolute right to be free from aggression, then this at once implies that the libertarian stands foursquare for what are generally known as civil liberties, the freedom to speak, publish, assemble, and to engage in such victimless crimes as pornography, sexual deviation, and prostitution, which the libertarian does not regard as crimes at all, since he defines a crime as violent invasion of someone else's person or property. Furthermore, he regards conscription as slavery on a massive scale, and since war, especially modern war, entails the mass slaughter of civilians, the libertarian regards such conflicts as mass murder, and therefore totally illegitimate. All of these positions are now considered leftist on the contemporary ideological scale. On the other hand, since the libertarian also opposes invasion of the rights of private property, this also means that he just as emphatically opposes government interference with property rights, or with the free market economy through controls, regulations, subsidies, or prohibitions. For if every individual has the right to his own property without having to suffer aggressive depredation, then he also has the right to give away his property, bequest and inheritance, and to exchange it for the property of others, free contract and the free market economy, without interference. The libertarian favors the right to unrestricted private property and free exchange, hence a system of laissez-faire capitalism. In current terminology, again, the libertarian position on property and economics would be called extreme right-wing. But the libertarian sees no inconsistency in being leftist on some issues and rightist on others. On the contrary, he sees his own position as virtually the only consistent one, consistent on behalf of the liberty of every individual. For how can the leftist be opposed to the violence of war and conscription, while at the same time supporting the violence of taxation and government control? And how can the rightist trumpet his devotion to private property and free enterprise, while at the same time favoring war, conscription, and the outlawing of non-invasive activities and practices that he deems immoral? And how can the rightist favor a free market while seeing nothing amiss in the vast subsidies, distortions, and unproductive inefficiencies involved in the military-industrial complex? While opposing any and all private or group aggression against the rights of person and property, the libertarian sees that throughout history and into the present day, there has been one central, dominant, and overriding aggressor upon all of these rights: the state. In contrast to all other thinkers, left, right, or in between, the libertarian refuses to give the state the moral sanction to commit actions that almost everyone agrees would be immoral, illegal, and criminal if committed by any person or group in society. The libertarian, in short, insists on applying the general moral law to everyone, and makes no special exemptions for any person or group. But if we look at the state naked, as it were, we see that it is universally allowed, and even encouraged, to commit all the acts which even non-libertarians concede are reprehensible crimes. The state habitually commits mass murder, which it calls war, or sometimes suppression of subversion. The state engages in enslavement into its military forces, which it calls conscription. And it lives and has its being in the practice of forcible theft, which it calls taxation. The libertarian insists that whether or not such practices are supported by the majority of the population is not germane to their nature. that regardless of popular sanction, war is mass murder, conscription is slavery, and taxation is robbery. The libertarian, in short, is almost completely the child in the fable, pointing out insistently that the emperor has no clothes.